Opportunity. We're so excited to be back with Carlo today. He is a quality assurance grad from one of our programs, and he's going to be talking about his job search, his time at TripleTen, and he's gotten a couple interviews, so we're going to touch base with him on that. So we'll give it a couple minutes, get him to join and jump in, and then we'll go from there. But would love to hear for anybody joining today where you are joining from. So feel free to pop that, or another country. We'd love to hear the city that you're joining from today. So pop that in the chat. We're more than happy to answer any questions that anybody has throughout the stream today as well. So feel free to pop that in the chat too. Hi, Carlo.
Hi, Olivia. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you. Excited to be here, and hello, everyone.
Awesome. We're so glad to jump in. I know people are just, I'm seeing a couple influxes come in from Miami, California, just where people are joining from today. So we're so excited that we have an audience here to talk about your journey. So I will hand it over to you. Do you want to maybe introduce yourself, how you found TripleTen, the program that you obviously graduated from, and so forth?
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure to. Hello, everyone. My name is Carlo. I live in the United States in Texas. I used to be a teacher. I used to work in Asia. I used to work in Japan and South Korea. I did that for a couple of contracts for a couple of years. Prior to that, I used to work a regular office job at a shipping company. It was in South Carolina. I did lots of things, import customer service, collections. I was an accountant. But while I was studying in South Korea and Japan, I noticed that technology permeated everyday life, and I saw people working on the computer. They were in the hotel lobbies. They were even by the beaches working, and I wanted to know what they were doing. So one day I went to go ask, and they said, "Oh, I work in tech." That really opened my mind to find TripleTen and to find a boot camp that's legitimate and offers good curriculum. So I decided to dive right on in, and I did the QA engineering program, and it took about 5 months. It can be 4 to 5 months, and I graduated recently in September. Everything's going great so far. There's a great career acceleration course. You have coaches along the way, real life tutors. It's a fantastic program. That's a little introduction what I can offer.
That is a great intro. I know people are already jumping in wanting to know more about your job search. And that if you've got a job already. So just to give them a little crumbs of what's to come, where are you at in your TripleTen journey and your job search?
Absolutely, I can elaborate on that. I just graduated in September, and things really speed up after graduation. So your TripleTen is so good to have the career acceleration program. You get assigned a coach, one-on-one coaching. They fine-tune your resume. They fine-tune all your artifacts to make sure that you're competitive in the job search. So once I did that, I started applying. And I landed a job interview, and I did it last week. So it was great. So after 5 months, basically 1 week into it, I got a job interview. In conjunction with that, I'm also working with an internship from TripleTen, where I'm working with the online textbook academy based out of the Midwest. So it's a lot of things that you add to your resume to be competitive, and TripleTen offers that. Of course, you put in the work to make it all work, but it's great.
That is a great comprehensive sneak peek of what's to come and where you're at. So for those asking, he's still in the job search. He hasn't landed a job yet, but he also just finished the program. So he just jumped into that part of the program. So we will definitely touch on more of that in a couple minutes, I guess. But Carlo, bringing it back to all the way to the beginning, what drew you to TripleTen in the first place? I know that you saw a YouTube ad. What made you to finally make the decisions to switch to tech? I know you touched on at the beginning that when you were traveling, you saw so many people jump in and were working in hotel lobbies and remotely. So I'll let you take that over.
Yeah, I think I came across it as on a YouTube channel, and I think a while ago it was a different name of the company. It was called Practicum, and I was just I found it very compelling. The gentleman that was interviewed, he was in a similar situation. He studied some type of bioengineering. He was a chemist or something like that, and he dedicated so much time for a master's program at a typical university. He said, "I really don't like my career." He said he talked to his parents about it. He said, "I want to try something new. I want to try getting my feet wet into tech." So he did, and the commercial was so well done. And I said, "Oh, this is very legitimate." And I looked him up on LinkedIn, and he has a success story. And there's many success stories coming out of TripleTen. So I really read those reviews, and I really talked to one of the sales representatives, and they told me about all the programs. They told me about software engineering, QA engineering. Now there's a new cybersecurity course. There's different courses. There's UI, UX engineering now, or interface. So I wanted to really understand what's the best program for me. What are the prices? What's the time frame? So my prerogative was to finish in the shortest amount of time possible. I didn't want to rush through things, but I didn't want to be in school for another year or something like that. So they said, oh, QA engineering or business intelligence analytics, BIA, is 3-4 months. QA engineering is 4 to 5 months. Oh, okay. So I did QA engineering. What is QA engineering about? QA engineering is about finding bugs, in other words, things that don't work and making them work, logging them in a bug report and sending it back to the developers for the people, the professional coders to fix, the software engineers. So it really was that YouTube ad, and it was just so comprehensive. The reviews are great. It's a legit program. There's great professors. There's great tutors. I can't say enough about it.
Definitely. Thanks so much for sharing, Carlo. I hope that's helpful for people, just to give like an overview of like what the program is and what you've taken from it so far, and even like why you decided to jump into tech. I know in our previous conversation, which has been really, really interesting, is that you were studying like abroad. You were in Greece and Italy and teaching in South Korea, which is so impressive. But I know that there was a specific moment when you were in Asia that really made like you think about that and jump into that switch. Can you explain what that moment was to the audience?
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe that I was in the place where a lot of technology, a lot of great companies like Samsung, Sony, Panasonic, that they derive from. And I saw lots of employees working from anywhere. And I was teaching and I was going to the office every day, going to the school every day. And sometimes on the weekend, I would see people working on their computers outside. And I said, I wonder what they do. So I went to go ask a gentleman. He said, oh, I work in tech. I do graphic design, actually. It was kind of like tech, but it was graphic design. And I said, wow, that would be great to work on the computer and just really have your own schedule almost, and work from anywhere. You can have a nice drink from the beach and work on the computer, or work from a hotel lobby, or from your home, which is how many people are doing it now. It's so convenient. Technology permeates every day in our lives. We're using it now. And in Asia, you just see it everywhere, especially in South Korea, Japan. The neon signs, the technology, the games, everything's automated. The hotels, the self-check-in system, the restaurant self-check-in system. It was very interesting and very eye-opening. And that really inspired me to get into this tech field.
Definitely. Thanks for sharing that, Carlo. Very interesting, very cool story that you had jumping into the program, and like all this your travel experience, I think is very inspiring to see as well. So thanks for sharing. So why did you choose quality assurance over software engineering? I know that you had an interest originally in software engineering, but you jumped into quality assurance instead.
Correct. When I talked to one of the sales representatives at TripleTen, she was so good in telling me the differences between the programs. So I wanted to do full stack engineering. That's everything. You get to learn everything. You're going to learn QA. You're going to learn design. You're going to learn test casing. You're going to learn how to build a website, JavaScript, everything you need to be a tech professional, to have your toolbox ready to go. But I said, oh, it's about 9 months, 12 months. Prices range. And I like how I said my prerogative was to finish in a shorter amount of time and be ready with the skills for the job force. So I thought that QA was sufficient for me in my life, and I wanted to test bugs. I like making things work. I like making processes efficient. But QA, yeah, it's a great program too. You learn lots of things. It's not as code intensive. Software engineering is more code intensive. That also was a deciding factor. I was more of a manual tester. I like to touch apps. I want to check apps. I want to see that it's working. So that really was the deciding factor for me, the time and then the job, what you do.
Definitely. And obviously that's working out because you love the program and you finished it. So that totally makes sense and aligns with what you're saying. Definitely. That's great. What were some of the most challenging parts of the program? I know you had mentioned like Sprint 4, APIs was really hard, or Sprint 6. How did you overcome them with the help of the tutors?
Absolutely. When I jumped into the programs, Sprints 1, 2, and 3, There were, I'm not going to say that it was easy, but you know, if you go at it, you can finish faster. You can finish and understand the material. It gets a little more difficult at Sprint 4 when you learn about APIs, how programs work with each other, switch on programs, switch off programs, stuff like that. And you know, you can't do it by yourself. Sorry to say, you have to ask a tutor. You have to go one-on-one, kind of like how we're doing now. And the tutors are always available at TripleTen. And if a tutor is not available at TripleTen, TripleTen has a great AI chat box, which knows everything almost. So I relied a lot on the AI chat box, a lot on the one-on-one sessions, a lot on the tutors. And they really are so patient with the students that they can answer almost in real time. So I had a lot of help with Sprint 4, Sprint 6, 7, and 8. You know, you can ask for help for lots of things. It's like having a professor, and I wouldn't expect it any other way. So that's the thing that differentiates TripleTen from other programs. Some programs are completely self-taught that you just press the button, you pass. This is more about, do you understand the topic? And once you submit a project, after every sprint, there's a capstone project. It needs to be submitted, and human eyes need to see it and say, oh, he understands the project. So you can work with the tutor to make sure that the project is ready to go before it's submitted. And once you submit it, you're all good. But it's not like you get 100%, 79%, 89%, A plus, B plus, nothing like that. It has to be passed by eyes, by someone. So that's the great thing about it.
Definitely. I always find that's really helpful because then you also know that these code reviewers are in the real world. They're keeping your code up to date and they're actually looking at it and giving like relevant feedback, which is also really, really helpful for some people. Definitely.
Yes.
So jumping a little bit more into QA, and then we're going to get into your externship and your job search. And I'm seeing a ton of questions in the chat. Some of them are being answered by other students, so thank you so much for jumping in. And then I see we have a couple in the queue, so we'll make sure to get to those at the end because it kind of leads into more of the conversation that we're getting into. But what was your favorite part of the project? What was your favorite part of the program project-wise? And what did you learn from it to really apply for real-world QA work?
I really felt like Sprint 6 was testing APIs in the Android app. I'm an Android user, or you can also emulate with the iPhone. So you have an emulator, you download the emulator, you install software onto your computer as if you're looking at a phone. It's an emulator, so it looks like an Android, it looks like an iPhone, and you get to manipulate, you get to touch, you get to download programs, install programs, make sure things work, and you track the bugs on the phone. So it's a very tactile project. I thought it was very cool. I felt like, oh, this is really hands-on. It feels like something real rather than just a whole bunch of code on a terminal screen, you know? That's interesting in itself, but I really like pretending to be on an iPhone when I don't have an iPhone. So
that's so fair. That's awesome to see. And for those that don't know, because I know that was like emulation testing was like a really fun sprint for you, which was I think Sprint 6. So can you explain to everybody what emulation testing is? And you did kind of explaining Android versus iPhone, but just a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to articulate that the best way that I can. Emulation is like you have your laptop. You need to download a particular program. I believe it's Android Studio. And there's there's a group of so many devices you can download. If you want to download a Sony phone, you want to download a Google Pixel, which is the device I worked on. If you want to download a Samsung A15, you can download that interface and you can have the phone on your computer screen. And it's like having a phone when you don't have a phone. So if you have a job where you work in a cell phone company and you're a QA tester for them, you may not have the device at hand, but you can emulate the device. You can pretend to have the device and it acts in real time. You can install software, of course, from the internet into the phone, make sure that it works correctly. So in that case, for Sprint 6, I was tasked with, let me see if I remember correctly, downloading or installing like an Uber Eats app. We call it the Urban Lunch. And I wanted to make sure that it worked properly. So you download it, you open up the app, you use your mouse instead of your finger, and you just want to make sure that you can input the address correctly, that valid characters are acceptable. Invalid characters are not acceptable for address, pickup, instructions to the delivery driver. things like that. Make sure that the map works. If there's bugs that there's not showing, the map is not zooming in, not zooming out correctly. If certain places are not listed. So it was just really exploratory testing, white box testing, negative testing, things like that.
Awesome. That was like a perfect articulation of that. I feel like I can do it now because you explained it so well.
Thank you. It's been a while. I've tried my best.
No, that was literally perfect. I'm so glad. If people are jumping into the QA program, you will experience that. So hopefully that's like helpful to like have a sneak peek inside the program to see like what you would actually be working on. So great explanation, Carlo. Thank you so much. So jumping into like the juicier part of the conversation, which I'm sure that's why so many people have stuck around for, is externship, career support, and job search. So you're currently in an externship with, I think it's Runestone Academy is what you said. How did TripleTen prepare you for this opportunity, and what were your expectations for the cohort?
Well, once you sign up for any program, they do offer an externship, which is an internship, in other words, and TripleTen organizes it. You have a success manager. My success manager was great. They will help you stay on task. They will help you with deadlines, and they will collaborate with outside companies, outside people that need help with testing or software engineering or UX design. And they will get you involved in a group with other TripleTen students who want to do pro bono work, an internship. And as soon as I was graduating, I landed the internship because I was a little proactive. Around sprint 4 or sprint 6, I sent a message to my success manager, and she was on the ball. She was great. She sent messages. She networked for me, and she found me an internship, which I landed at the perfect time, right when I graduated. So it was a great thing. Runestone Academy, what we're working on is there's no requirements for the website. It's an online textbook portal. Any textbook can be available on there. It's just right now it's in the rough, and we need to test lots of bugs, see how things work. And we're at the stages now. We're going to automate it next week. So we're writing a lot of test cases. We're doing a lot of negative testing, positive testing. Positive testing is making sure that your name works when you sign in. Negative testing is making sure that invalid characters, Chinese characters, Greek letters, they're not accepted. That's more intricate, but that's the stuff that we're doing. And we're going to automate that so that these processes work.
Definitely. That's like super clear. That's a great explanation of even what externs are. So thanks for sharing that. So jumping a little bit more into this. So like, how did TripleTen's career acceleration support, like resume building and LinkedIn strategies, really shape your job search and application? I know that part kind of comes into play with externships slightly because you're getting that real world experience that you can now apply to put on your resume.
In conjunction with that resume, you get assigned a career coach, which is, part of the program. It's offered to you, and it's an invaluable resource. I would say what you pay for TripleTen, that is a very valuable resource, because my career coach is also fantastic, and I know all the career coaches are fantastic, but they really tell you how to tailor your resume. What's the difference between a resume and a curriculum vitae or a CV? What type of resume you should use for this type of role. So I had a resume from the teaching experience. I have to retailor it completely so that an employer would look at it, because when you have an academic type of CV or resume, it's a little too long. So I had to make mine more concise, which I learned with my tutor. TripleTen is great because you get to use the real life projects, sprint 4, sprint 5, sprint 6, and you can use them as your work experience in other ways. And you can put a link to that, and they can see your real world projects. The career coach is also great. It gives you interview tips, how to message and network on LinkedIn. Let's say you want to apply for a QA tester job at, I don't know, AT&T, Apple, Facebook, yet there's no jobs available. What you can do is, and this is a tip that I learned, you can go on LinkedIn, you can find an employee that works at this company and send them a nice message. It's not about something transactional. It's about what you have to offer and what you want to say about yourself. And you can make a connection with the software engineer from Facebook or from AT&T. Excuse me, I said software QA engineer. So there's lots of ways you can network, and it's proven helpful, because the way that I was able to get my first interview, I did this approach. I was a user of the app for the company that I want to work at. I said, I love this app. I wonder if they have a QA job opening. They didn't, but I went ahead and I used this strategy. And because of my career coach telling me to message people who have the job you want, I sent the message, and now I have a connection, and now I have a foot in the door. So I found it invaluable. There's different ways to do it, rather than just blindly sending your resume on one of those portals. That works too, and I suggest that you do that. You're going to do that a lot. I know that I'm doing 10 a day, but there's a human approach about it, and there's different ways that the career coach can set you up for success. And it's been an invaluable experience working with my career coach. You meet with the career coach weekly at first, and then bi-weekly, and then he'll give you certain tasks to do. You need to apply for a certain amount of jobs. You need to be adding people on LinkedIn, 5 contacts per week, 10 jobs per week, so on, so forth and so forth.
Definitely. That's a really good job search strategy. So I hope somebody is like writing notes as we go, and that's like a really big takeaway for the group. So thank you so much for sharing that. So I want to jump into your job search process. And I know we're still getting questions about job search, but you don't currently have a job right now, right, Carlo? You're still in the job search aspect.
I did the first interview, and I have a second technical interview actually today. So that's good.
Definitely. And you just graduated in September, which is so exciting. So even getting a job that fast out of graduation is so fantastic. And jumping into the Career Acceleration Program has really helped you jump in, as you said before. So you've already applied. I think you said around 21, and that was like a couple weeks ago or last week, with a couple more on your list. How's the job search process been, and what are your main takeaways so far? And I know you just had an interview as well, so we would love to hear about that experience for you too.
Yeah, I started. There's a great app that's provided by TripleTen called Prentice, and it's a job searching app. So you get to track every job that you apply to, and you can change the status of it if it's no longer available, if you were interviewing for it, if you were rejected for it. So it's a nice portal, a separate portal from TripleTen that uses a lot of AI, and it makes applying for jobs very, very efficient, I would say. Not easy, but efficient. It'll autofill your resume. It'll create a cover letter. It will do things that, applying for job searches the old-fashioned way it could be a pain, but this takes the pain out of it. I applied to maybe 47 or 50 as of today, and I have one interview so far, so I think that's a pretty good ratio, good number. It's not the job market is, as people have heard, is not the greatest right now for this, but there's still lots of hope. There's a lot of people getting hired all the time. There's a lot of alumni getting hired all the time, and you just got to keep at it. It's a numbers game, and your career coach will definitely help you get something. If you don't get something, I know that there's certain requirements for money back guarantees, so I'm not worried about that. I intend to get a job, so that I don't think TripleTen has to worry about that. And my prerogative is to get a job. Everyone does. And I know that I will, and I know that you will too.
Definitely. The goal is always to get a job. Like, that's why people switch their career to jump into tech, to usually make more money or work remotely, or just like jump out of the job that they're not enjoying so far. So we definitely stand by our money back guarantee. And I know some people probably in this conversation are like, what is that? That doesn't make sense. So just to like recap on what you're saying, a money back guarantee is basically if you are done the program and you've completed all the requirements. So like Carlo is in career acceleration. He's doing everything he can. He's tracking all of his jobs. If you don't get a job within 6 months, and I think we're actually changing that to longer soon. So that's just like a little cheeky secret, I guess, for our live stream viewers. If you don't get a job within 6 months, we refund your whole tuition. Mind you, you do have to hit some criteria. So like, it's pretty simple. You just have to like put in effort, basically. So just an explanation for those jumping into this live stream. They're like, what is the money back guarantee? So really great though that you're taking those steps and you're really putting yourselves out there with the job search. So that's awesome to see. Curiously, I know this Runestone Academy externship that you're currently in is one of the industries that you're really interested in. So can you kind of touch on the industries that you're most interested in, and why these specific industries are like really appealing to you? And I can prompt you as well, because I have some notes for Carlo.
Absolutely. I think it has to go back with working one-on-one with the career coach. Because if, let's say you're undecided, you just know that you want to work into tech, but you don't know exactly where you want to work. You're going to use your previous experience, your previous passions or current passions, and you're going to combine them into something that works for you. So I used to be a teacher. I love languages. I speak 3 languages. I've traveled extensively. What can work? I said to my career coach. He said, "Oh, education. You're an educator. Oh, so you need to work in the ed tech field." So that's really something that I became passionate about, and I didn't know I had that passion. So the alignment with the Runestone Academy and the alignment with the interview that I just got is also an ed tech company for language learning software. Very excited about it. It could be my dream job. So yes, ed tech is my passion. In other words.
That is so exciting to hear. And I know there's lots of jobs available in ed tech. And I know there's other jobs too that people are like, oh, I didn't know that that was like a job that I could use with quality assurance. Like it really spans across all industries. So yeah.
I wanted to touch base on it because even if you study quality and QA, quality engineering, or software engineering, or UX, you can use the skills that you learned from TripleTen to apply for a job that's similar. Um, like how I said, there's no QA jobs available at that company, but you want to talk to a QA tester and get your foot in the door, you can work in his department, or you can work, collaboratively somehow. So that's something that I did. And I love what you said, Olivia, that just because you're a QA tester doesn't mean you have to work precisely in QA. You can work with your passion.
Absolutely. And we have a couple well wishes in the comments. Somebody is saying, hopefully you get that job offer tonight. Good luck. So that's really nice to hear from our community.
Thank you.
We're actually down to our last question here. So if anybody else has any other questions for Carlo, we do have like a special Cyber Monday discount running now that I'll touch base on the end. But I really wanted to hear this last point from Carlo here, if there's no other questions that come in through the chat. But what other advice would you give to somebody that is considering a career change, but feeling like maybe hesitant to take the leap based on your journey?
I was in the same boat, and I hesitated for a long time. I did my research. I saw the YouTube ad, and then I did all my research, and I said, "Oh, I don't know. It's just another coding boot camp. It costs money. It costs a lot of money, and I don't know. What if I don't finish? What if I do all this work and I don't get anything out of it? You know, just do your research, be patient, and then decide to do it." That's exactly what I did. Nothing magical about it. I was hesitant. I was probably more hesitant than most people. I really did my research though. I talked about pricing. I talked about all the programs, software engineer, QA, UX. I just really found what resonated with me, and it worked out. You just have to put in the work. Decide that you really want to change your life and take the actions every day to do it. I took it very seriously because it's also a monetary investment. It's a time investment. So consider those things. And I know that the fruits, the reward is better than what you're going through right now. So sometimes you're going to struggle during your sprints. Sometimes you're going to say, I know that I can't do this. There's no way that I can do all this type of code. But you're going to have help along the way. And I can tell you as a graduate and just as a person that this is one of the best programs, and the reward is great. For someone who's hesitant, just do your research, decide that you want to make a pivot. It's never too late to pivot. There's a gentleman in my internship class, in my externship. He's 50 years old. He's a mechanical engineer, I believe, and he wants to do QA engineering. He's 50 years old and he's at it. He's probably the most energetic person. He decided to make the pivot. And there's people who have kids. There's people who have other jobs. There's people with other struggles. And I see all these people that I work with, and they're all fantastic. They decided to really take a leap of faith. And the leap of faith, feel confident that you're going to have your hand held by lots of tutors and lots of people. They're going to nurture you. They want you to get the job, for their reasons, but they really want to see you succeed. Your success manager will want to see you succeed. Everyone in the community has been great. So don't be so hesitant. Just dive right on it. Dive in if you want to.
Definitely. That's some really great advice. And I love that you did your research and you love the program. And that we really helped you because I know I've talked to people behind the scenes too, and they just love what they do. They love watching people succeed. It's genuinely gives them happiness. So it's so good to see that translating too. And I think that's really good advice that it's never too late to switch your career. And great example. I feel like we need to get that gentleman onto our live stream and talk about why he wanted to pivot careers because that's so great to hear that he's in there at 50.
I can send you his name, when we conclude.
Absolutely. Would love to
Yeah.
hear that. Well, thank you so much, Carlo, for your time today. This was a really impactful story to hear. I hope that we ended up answering everybody's questions in the live stream. I know that was a pretty chatty comment section, which was really great to see. A couple of shout outs for those that are just looking for more information. If you are looking for like average graduation rates or how much graduates get paid after they're done TripleTen's programs on average, we do have our outcomes report on our website, so you can go check that out. We also have some really great resources on our blog channel that people can download for their job search or even just to see industry experts and what they have to say. And then right now we have our Cyber Monday sale going on, which is our biggest sale of the year. It's 35% off all programs. So if people are interested, I would highly recommend booking a call with our advisor, which is in our link in bio. And we will have more live streams with more students and alumni. So hopefully we can have Carlo back after he did secure his job and hear more about what that job search was like when you're in the weeds. And I hopefully that job calls you back tonight and that was like your last one and we can hear more about it and then talk about your time as a QA engineer or QA analyst or whatever you end up as. But thank you so much, Carlo, for your time. Any last thoughts before we head out today?
Oh, I just want to wish everyone well. Thank you, Olivia, for having me. This has been a very insightful opening experience. I love to be involved. I love to help. The more that you give TripleTen, the more that you're going to receive. So anyone who wants to join, put in the work, stay diligent about it. You can do it. Anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it. I love that. We're just going to end on that. Have a great week, everybody. And for next week, happy Thanksgiving to all those in the States. And we will touch base soon with another live stream. So thank you so much. See you.